AC Thunder. Chet, what did you like best about the start of this game and the mentality that you guys showed from the very outset?
We came out with a lot of respect for this specific game and the opponent, knowing that this is the NBA and there's a lot of great teams in this league. So we couldn't take anybody lightly, and we came out with focus and intensity and had a great start to the game.
Will was just telling us about the great camaraderie that the two of you have and kind of the competitiveness that you guys have had from the start. What have you made of his growth from year one to year two, and what stands out to you about that?
Just like anybody else on this team, Will works extremely hard at what he does, and he finds a lot of different ways to get better, game to game, week to week, season to season, like you're talking about. And his improvement has been huge, not only for himself but also for the team. He's one heck of a winning player, and it's great to be able to go out there and play with him.
Chet, earlier this week, Mark kind of complimented you on how you play the pick and roll defensively and mentioned that it's especially impressive due to how different this style of defense is in the pick and roll. How is it different from what you've done previously?
What do you mean by that?
He was talking about like the switches and the assignments are a little bit different in this scheme than what is more traditional.
And he was impressed with my switching ability?
Yeah, in the pick and roll.
Just trying to do whatever coach asks of me and do it at an effective level. Obviously, I have a long ways to go with that part of the game. But a lot of it comes down to just effort, intensity, and trying to make the right play. And you're not always gonna. It's not always gonna go your way, but if you stick with it, usually it ends up in your favor. So I'm just trying to make winning plays, and coach trusts me to make those type of plays. So I got to go out there and kind of return that.
Chet, he didn't get there, but Shai was in the range of a 5x5 tonight, which not a lot of guards. He didn't get rebounds, and he didn't get blocks, right?
Oh, okay.
But 3 blocks. Not many guards ever get into that, even this kind of territory. I just wonder what it says to you about the number of ways he impacts a game.
He's just a winning player. He's in year 6 or 7, whatever it is, and there's some guys who've been around for like 20 years. So saying he's been around for a long time, relative to myself, he's been around a long time, and throughout that time, he's always found different ways to be a winning player. He's a winning player in all aspects of what he does when he goes out there on the floor, and he understands that you can't just be a winning player on one side of the floor. So, he puts a lot of effort and intensity and detail into the defensive side as well, and it shows not only in the stats but also, within the game flow. He's out there making winning plays.
Mark also talked about his skill at just leveraging his gravity and what he creates and making those decisions when the defense reacts to him. Have you seen him, even in the time you've been around him, just from watching last year, playing with him? Have you seen him grow as a playmaker?
Yeah, 100%. With anything in the NBA, as you get good at something, teams are going to scheme and make adjustments to try and make you uncomfortable or put you in a position that you're not used to or you're not as good. And I think he's at the point where he's seen all of those adjustments, and once he kind of sees what the other team's trying to do, he knows how to take advantage of that. And he does a great job of trusting us out there as well to make the right play when he makes the right play. That's huge for our team, and as a team we're going to continue to get better with that. But he's made a lot of improvement with that as well.
Gallo mentioned your relationship with Will, but he's the first one to sub in for you most times. Sometimes you guys will be paired together. What do you think it is, or how would you explain how you guys complement each other's games?
I would just say it comes down to we're both winning basketball players. We're out there trying to make winning plays. Neither of us are out there playing for anything but trying to win. So, we're out there rebounding together, playing defense together, moving the ball on offense together, shooting, passing. And when we're out there together, there's always a little extra juice to do good so we can play more together, because it doesn't happen all the time or super consistently. But when it does happen, we really want to play well within that.
And then you have the Rising Stars Challenge coming up soon. You're going to be there with Kaysen and J-Dub. They're going to draft the teams, apparently, between the rookies and sophomores. Would you rather be on the same team as those guys, or would you rather compete against them?
I'd always love to play with those guys.
You played a half a season. You watched Shai, what he was going through. Not having played a half season with him, and you kind of understand just the physical nature of it, is it even more impressive what kind of he goes through that you kind of...
It's definitely impressive because obviously January we had a lot of games, and he just keeps going like it's nothing, shrugging off, whatever amount of load he has to carry in terms of minutes or just possessions where he's either primary defender, primary ball handler, whatever it might be, and then also mentally he's just super consistent through all of it, and knowing how much of a roller coaster an NBA season is, now that I've kind of really gotten into it, it's very impressive, and I'm trying to learn from him as much as I can.
Which is tougher, the physical part or the mental part, do you think?
They kind of go together, because it's a lot easier to get frustrated or like everybody knows when you're tired, you're a little more cranky, so that happens to NBA players too. But I guess not him. He's always happy-go-lucky and always bringing the mood of the team up, if that makes sense. So.
Following up on the J-Will questions, see most of the times that you come off the floor and he's not coming in the game, he's the first one to come to you, whether that's it looks like saying keep your head up or whatever, or just high-fiving you or whatever. What's it like to have a guy like that just in your corner, the first one always to come to you when you're coming off the floor?
It's always great to have great teammates around you, and I try to reciprocate that too, and cheer him on and pick him up when he needs it, and I feel like what goes around comes around with that, and not only me and J-Will, but us as a team, as a unit, all together, we do a really good job of picking each other up.
Seems like Shai just keeps on racking up all these different deals with these clothing brands. When talking about like fashion icons in the history of the NBA, Mike, Iverson, Kobe, Russ, where do you think Shai stacks up this early in his career?
I think by the time he retires, he'll be the GOAT.
And then is it like effortless, or can you tell that he cares about it? Like
he cares.
But
he's also
like more of like
he also plays it super smooth. You know what I mean? So but you could tell he cares. Yeah. And never seen him. I wear Nike Techs every day. Never seen him in anything. Obviously, he's a Converse guy, but he's got a fit on everywhere he goes. So some of them are more calm than others, but never slacking with it. Yeah.
Last one, Joel. Just earlier, you were mentioning just as players get good in this league, teams start to try different things and scheme for them. Now that you could look back at January, does it feel like January was one of those periods where teams were trying to figure out and maybe throwing stuff that you hadn't seen at you?
I wouldn't say we saw anything in January that we didn't see before January. Yeah. I wouldn't say teams threw anything in terms of adjustments kind of directed towards me, if that makes sense. I think that's what you're kind of talking about. I still think everything we saw in January we'd seen before that, but kind of with the lack of ability to practice and do this and do that, it's hard to as a team communicate and practice scheming against some of those things. So a lot of it we're working on things in real live games and stuff. So and Shai's played long enough. He was talking about Shai and the adjustments he has to make. Shai's played long enough where he's been able to see all those adjustments and improve against them, and I feel like that's kind of the stage that I'm in, where I'm seeing what teams are throwing at us as a team, and I'm kind of figuring it out within that, how the best way to play against that and try to win is. So.
Thank you, Chet.
Yeah. No, good night.
Lou, Mark said that this was a very professional approach to the game that you guys had. What did you like best about maybe the opening 5-6 minutes and the way that you guys put your foot down from the start?
I want to say just the mentality. I mean, we didn't really play our records. We just went out there and played hard and do everything to win the game. I know we tricked one a couple games ago in Detroit just because we didn't come in with the right mindset. So, tonight was just a 0-0 mentality, and went out there and played hard and win the game.
Lou, part of that fast start was Cason Wallace played with a lot of intensity defensively. What have you seen from him as kind of a tone setter on that end?
He's been doing a great job. I mean, just knowing that he's out there, especially with me, I know that, it's so comfortable just to switch, and I know he's going to bring a lot of energy. So he's been doing a great job. And, I feel like he's getting better every game, and I'm just happy to play with him on the court.
Salut Logans, ça fait 5 ans que tu es ici. J'aimerais que tu me parles un peu, c'est devenu ta maison. Ça représente quoi de jouer ici, l'ambiance, tout ça? C'était une première pour nous aussi, là.
Mais j'aime vraiment ça. Ça fait 5 ans maintenant, je suis rendu vraiment habitué. Puis ici, ils m'ont vraiment juste bien accueilli. Ça fait longtemps que je suis là maintenant, puis les fans m'adorent, puis je suis vraiment content d'être ici. So, je suis rendu habitué à la culture d'Oklahoma City, puis je suis content d'être ici. Yeah.
You guys came out extremely hot on the defensive end tonight. Shai had 5 steals and 3 blocks in the first half alone. Just what did you think about you guys' effort on that end of the floor?
Yeah, just main thing was to play hard and then do everything to get a stop and run in transition and score. So credit to Shai, he's been doing a great job. Just being aggressive and then having good hands. Just to good way to read the guys and getting those steals, and those just brings a lot of intensity. Just us, running the floor. So it was great.
Lou, Shai was just in here the other night, being asked about whether he has ever considered chasing, 50, 60 points, that type of deal. And by half tonight, he was pretty close to a 5x5. Just were you guys aware of that at all? And with stuff like that, are you kind of nudging him to maybe push for that?
I ain't gonna lie to you, I wasn't aware. But those are numbers. I mean, he's on the court a lot. He's doing a lot of great stuff. So those numbers are gonna come at some point. He's gonna get 50. It's coming definitely. And he's just out there playing the game the right way. I don't think I didn't really see it, honestly. I don't think he did either. So, no, he's just out there playing the game the right way.
He's just to be in that mix to try to get to be close to a 5x5. That's affecting the game in so many ways. I just wonder what you've seen from him in your time with him, just in the change and how many different ways he impacts games outside of his scoring.
Nah, yeah, he's doing it all. First of all, he's really vocal, just the defensive side. Just calling the coverages and all that too. So. Like I said, just he being aggressive, it just feeds off on the other guys on the team. Just our best player doing that, and also it's great that he's so good at this and he does it a lot, so we can run in transition.
Mark also talked about just using his leverage, using his gravity, letting defense come to him and determine where the ball goes from there. How much that can get you guys activated. What does it mean for you guys for your offense when so much attention goes there and sees that?
Really just to read the game, get open. Find windows. I mean, he has so much attention to him just because he's been doing a great job this season. So for us, it's just finding windows and really get open, and then if we open, just shoot it.
Lou, you've talked a lot about your relationship and friendship with Shai. I just wanted to ask you, with him now being named an All-Star starter, All-NBA first team last year, what's been your impression of things like that, the work that he's put in, and just your overall feelings on his rise in the league to superstardom?
I mean, nothing changed on mine. I mean, I seen the work. I know how hard he worked, and honestly, from the first time I seen him and I competed against him, I knew he was gonna get there at some point. And now I'm just really happy that he's there, and he's in there to stay. He's damaging. He's doing a lot of damage in this league right now, so I'm just really happy for him.
You guys are right on the verge of getting, of Mark being the All-Star game coach. Is that something that matters to you guys? Would you guys like to send him there?
Definitely. That'll be cool. We room for our coach, definitely. How does that work? How does he get the first?
If you're number 1 seed.
Number 1 seed.
As of like Sunday, though, it stops. The cutoff is, I think, Sunday.
Well, yeah, that'll be great. I mean, I'll definitely watch. I won't be there. I'll support my guys. It's gonna be there, but that'll be great if he goes.
Thank you, Lou.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder. Jaylin, Mark was just saying that he feels like the game has definitely slowed down for you from year 1 to year 2. And how do you feel like that's helped you get your athleticism into the game even more than last year and be more anticipatory on things?
Yeah, it definitely has. The tendencies of the game, the speed of the game, everything is different from college, and just having a year under my belt, I feel like I've learned a lot. And also just playing with my teammates, I know how they're going to play. I know who's going to get over screens, and I trust them and they trust me, and it's making the game a lot easier.
Jay, well, coming into last year, you carved out a niche for yourself, taking a lot of charges. You became the charge guy. That's what a lot of people know you for. This year, you've really expanded your role and become like a staple of the rotation. What exactly has gone into that of you just showing off more of your game, and how excited are you going forward to show more off?
Yeah, I think always for me it's just been doing the things that get me on the court, and regardless of what it is, if it's taking charges or just turning the basketball, I've always been willing to do those things. And this year has been blocking the shots and doing things, the same things, just a little bit more.
Jay, well, tomorrow Jaylin Williams gets another jersey retired at TCU. What has he meant to you just as a person, and kind of what is this impact like just on an overall organization?
Yeah, that's our vet, and K-Rich sets the tone. Regardless of what it is, he's always going to be the same guy that brings energy, talking crap, high eyes, shooting games, whatever it is, he's going to talk. And K-Rich has set the tone ever since I've been here.
Most of the time when Chet walks off the floor, you're there, like the first one, whether it's he misses a shot or whether it's something positive. Like, seems like you're always the first one there, either telling him to keep his head up or like give him a high five or anything. What's that relationship like with you two guys?
Yeah, I think it started from the beginning, just us being competitive. The first day that we saw each other after we got drafted, the first thing we talked about was the Arkansas-Gonzaga game. And he was like, let's play ones. And I was like, let's go do it. And we've kind of always just been pushing each other. And I know how great of a player he is. He changes the game on both sides of the court for us. And I know that he impacts it. And I just always tell him, like, keep doing your thing and try to keep him going.
Who won?
The Arkansas-Gonzaga?
No, one.
We haven't played.
Jay, well, you've been really good just as a high post creator. When did that kind of passing ability come into your game just as a basketball player?
I've always loved passing my whole life. It was kind of just been a fun thing for me. My dad always taught me to play the game the right way, and passing is one of those things. You get off the ball if you need to, and it's just fun making those passes, and Coach trusts me to make those passes a lot of the time.
Anybody else?
All right, Sean.
OKC Thunder. Mark, seemed like your group from the very outset throughout that first half had great energy. What did you make of the approach your guys had coming in?
I thought we had a very professional approach today. We knew that they're a heavy help team that can kind of swallow the ball up if you play slow against them, and I thought our team did a really good job of attacking them, moving the ball side to side, keeping the ball ahead of their defense. We had great physicality earlier in the game on the defensive side of the ball. And, we don't take a win for granted. I mean, I thought we went out there, really earned the game, especially in the first half of that game, to build that type of lead.
What kind of development have you seen from Jay Will this season? It seems like his athleticism's into the game. He's more effective.
Yeah, I think the game slowed down for him on both ends, which is expected for a second-year player. I think, one thing you can underestimate is how fast the game moves for a player that's never played in an NBA game before. Micic is a good, example of that, because he's a guy that's played a lot of basketball, and it's still an adjustment for him. He's played the highest level of basketball other than the NBA, and so, then apply that thinking to a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, it's fast. He's done a great job. He's done a great job with his body. I think he's done a great job with his defensive fundamentals, his rim protection. You're seeing the shot blocking and shot altering. He's mixing that in with the charges this year, which was something that we had worked on with him, or that he had worked on. He's playing really well for us right now.
You guys came out extremely on fire on the defensive end. Shea had 5 steals, 3 blocks in the first half alone. What do you think about you guys' effort just on that end of the floor tonight, coming out?
Yeah, we knew with Miller and Washington and Bridges that we had to have great physicality on the ball, and we had to be really tight in our help. And I thought we set that tone from the onset of the game. I thought the stuff they got was earned and contested, especially early on. It was a team defense. We did a good job cleaning up the glass in the first half as well, and that set the tone for our offense.
To a 5x5, but he was flirting with it, and not a lot of guards in the history of the league are able to get that kind of a numerical sort of game. I just wonder, obviously he scores a lot, but what that says about all the ways he impacts a game.
Yeah, and he's rounded that out over time. It's impressive how he's improved. The steals has been an ongoing thing, the blocks has been an ongoing thing, but his defense has improved every single year he's been in the NBA. Bless you. And the offensive end, I thought tonight he was really on one early. He had as good of a blend of his play and plays for other guys as he's having all season. He had an unbelievable balance there in the first half of the game.
When you talk about being on one, a lot of times you think of that in terms of scoring, but did you see that from a playmaking standpoint?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, he was great pace, great aggression, got his scoring in, but also just let the game tell him what to do and made the early play. I think the hardest balance for a guy like him is he wants his teammates to do well. I think there's a tendency sometimes to try to activate them by throwing ahead, but the best thing he can do for the team is leverage the advantage and leverage his gravity, and he's got to be aggressive first to do that and then let the game tell him what to do. I thought he did that at about as high a level as a player can do in the first half of that game.
And then one more, if I can, do you have All-Star Game plans, and have you thought about the possibility that you will be at the All-Star Game?
Yeah, I've been made aware of the possibility. It's not altering my decision-making in terms of how I'm coaching the games at all right now.
Mark, as much as we talked about, how grueling January was, how surprising, maybe not surprising to you, but surprising maybe to the general public of the effort you guys gave the other night after that type of month, just how comforting it is tonight, being up 30 at half, just the way the game unfolded.
Yeah, the score is what it was, but I thought, we played with really, really good, intention and pace and physicality in the first half of that game. I was really impressed by the approach that we took to the game tonight. We had the mentality that we needed to go earn the game, and we did that. And so very, very impressed by the team. Never take a win for granted. Guys did a great job of preparing. And it also, allowed us to get some gas back in the tank with minutes. We were, able to keep minutes down today, which was good because we turn around and play again on Sunday.
Mark, over the last couple of years, your team has consistently just progressed, gotten better and better. What has been the harder challenge, the climb up the mountain or sort of just staying towards the top where you guys are now in sort of unfamiliar waters compared to the last few years?
The best thing about what we've done, I think is organizational, and we certainly tried to carry it to the, team environment and the court, is having a set of, principles and standards that transcend, circumstance. And so, whether we were earlier in the build or whether, we're obviously having a good season record-wise, the stuff that we focus on is consistent. It's the same stuff that we've always focused on, and we try to help the players have the most consistent environment with that that's independent of team context, outcome of the game, winning streak, losing streak, and that's been the approach. It hasn't been easier or harder. That's been the steady hum that we've tried to create.
You have a better feel for second game with Jaylin and Isaiah Joe out, kind of how your rotations you want to be, because the other night Lindy got some early minutes, and of course, you didn't shoot very well to start that game. Tonight you did. Is that just a product of that?
Yeah, a little bit is, seeing every circumstance as an opportunity, and we'd like Jaylin and Isaiah to be available, but if they're not going to be, we try to think about how we can leverage that, what we can learn, what kind of confidence our team can gain, individual players, a team collectively, by having to step up and fill, obviously, a void in the rotation with those two guys out. That's a lot of minutes, 50 minutes or 50-plus minutes out the door. And so I think we've done a good job of that. We're learning a little bit. We're taking a look at some different guys, different things. And I've been impressed by how the guys have responded as well.
What do you think of your zone? You kind of mixed that in a little bit, and they hit some threes in the second quarter. Was that a product of that, or they just get hot, or did some things go wrong there?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. We haven't done it that much in a little while for a couple different reasons, but I I thought we were pretty prepared tonight. I thought the communication was really good in terms of rotations. They run a play that requires you to communicate and rotate, and we were able to handle that pretty well. I thought it threw them off rhythm a little bit, which it can be effective in doing. It's another thing that we need to kind of sharpen and have in our pocket in the case that it's good against a certain matchup or in a game circumstance.
One more, kind of on Brett. Do you want to coach the All-Star? Isn't that kind of an honor if you get to do that? That kind of pleasing?
I would never first of all, there's no guarantee that's going to happen. I would never, stub my nose at that. I also love the All-Star break and time with my family, so it's win-win.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thanks.